Chosen one. Word on the street is that you're not as soft and sweet as everyone thought. Every soul who dismissed your gentle nature is about to learn why angels carry swords, and honestly, they're absolutely shook. Psychological studies reveal that the most devastating power often hides behind the most accommodating exterior, but what science can't measure is the divine wrath that activates when cosmic forces decide the masquerade is over. Chosen ones across every realm of existence are dropping their sweet facades like nuclear bombs detonating in slow motion, and the shockwaves are obliterating everyone's comfortable assumptions about who holds the real power. Your softness was never a weakness, it was weaponized compassion. Those moments when something ancient flickered behind your eyes weren't accidents, when someone pushed too far and suddenly the temperature in the room seemed to drop, when your voice found a register that made everyone fall silent without understanding why. Those were controlled demolitions of comfort zones, warning shots fired across the bow of arrogance. The most perceptive among others felt it, something about the way shadows seemed to bend around you when the light hit just right. Something about the crushing weight of eternity that rested in your most casual gestures. These weren't people picking up on ordinary energy. These were souls recognizing something cosmic and terrifying in your presence, even when you were deliberately containing it. Yet the vast majority chose willful blindness, because acknowledging what you really were would have shattered comfortable delusions about who deserves to rule and who deserves to serve. When you demonstrated quiet authority, others heard weakness, because that's what pathetic egos needed to survive. When you moved with contained nuclear power, others hesitated because that interpretation allowed peaceful sleep. The blindness wasn't ignorance, chosen one, it was a survival instinct. On some primal level, others knew that truly seeing you would require bowing down, and pride couldn't survive that kind of cosmic humiliation. The most devastating realization happening around you isn't just that you're powerful, it's that the entire perception of your sweetness was a calculated illusion. Every gentle smile you offered was a strategic choice, not an automatic response. Every soft-spoken word was deliberate positioning, not natural temperament. Every accommodating gesture was reconnaissance in disguise, gathering intelligence on weaknesses while others congratulated themselves on your supposed compliance. You were never sweet in the way others understood sweetness. You were honey, and honey, as any apex predator knows, is how you attract flies before you destroy them. What others interpreted as natural gentleness was actually supernatural restraint. A lion choosing to purr instead of roar isn't weak, it's terrifyingly controlled. The shockwaves are still reverberating through social circles as people attempt to explain what was witnessed. How do you tell someone that the person being casually dismissed just revealed themselves as a force of nature? How do you admit that every condescending interaction was actually with someone who could have obliterated confidence with a single well-placed observation, but chose not to? Confusion is delicious because it forces confrontation with the truth. Egos can barely survive. Others were never the dominant ones in any interaction with you. Others were mice playing in the shadow of a sleeping giant, mistaking the giant's stillness for absence. Now the giant has opened its eyes, and the scrambling to understand how something so enormous was missed has begun. There was a moment of absolute reckoning, a precise instant when the universe itself aligned to witness your emergence. Not gradually, not with gentle transitions, but with the explosive force of a star going supernova. The soft exterior others had grown addicted to didn't fade away. It was obliterated in a blast of authentic power that left no room for misinterpretation. Maybe it appeared routine to blind masses around you, just another meeting, another conversation, another ordinary interaction. But in that crystalline moment, cosmic forces that had been building for lifetimes reached critical mass. Your spine didn't just straighten, it became a lightning rod for divine authority. Your voice didn't just change registers, it found the frequency that commands reality itself to bend. What happened next will haunt nightmares forever. The gentle accommodation others had taken for granted vanished like smoke before a hurricane. What remained was undiluted, uncompromised, and absolutely terrifying to anyone who had invested in keeping you small. The lamb others thought existed had just revealed itself as the lion it always was, and the jungle would never be the same. Watch faces during those first few seconds of recognition, the confusion melting into shock. The shock crystallized into fear. Some actually stumbled backward, didn't others? As if proximity to your unleashed essence had become physically dangerous, and it has. Not everyone can survive in the radiation field of authentic cosmic power when it's no longer shielded by false accommodation. The silence that followed carries the weight of civilizations falling. In that pregnant pause between old understanding and new terror, entire worldviews are crumbling. In that electric moment of recognition, every assumption about the balance of power is being rewritten by forces others never knew existed. This moment was always inevitable. Every spiritual tradition speaks of the day when the meek inherit the earth, but the prophecy was misunderstood. The meek were never weak, the meek were dormant, the meek were waiting, the meek were you. Watch how entire social ecosystems are restructuring themselves around your emergence. People who never gave you a second thought are suddenly hyper-aware of your presence in any space. Conversations that used to flow easily around you now stumble and halt when you enter the vicinity. The invisible hierarchy others thought was understood has been completely inverted, and nobody knows where the new positions are anymore. The ones who were loudest in dismissals are now the quietest in your presence. Something is being experienced that psychology textbooks never prepared anyone for. The bone-deep recognition that royalty has been insulted while being mistaken for a commoner. Nervous systems are stuck in permanent alert status, subconsciously registering threat levels conscious minds can't process. Others are overcompensating with forced enthusiasm, trying to retroactively position themselves as allies who always believed in your potential. Sudden interest in your opinions, eager nodding at your insights, desperate attempts to seem aligned. It would be pathetic if it weren't so revealing about fundamental character. You're not gloating, you're not rubbing faces in miscalculation. You're operating with the supreme confidence of someone who always knew this moment would come, someone who never needed validation because you had access to higher authorities all along. Your calm certainty in your own power is more terrifying than any dramatic display could ever be. The most insulting aspect of previous treatment wasn't just the dismissal of your power, it was the complete underestimation of your intelligence. Others spoke around you as if complex dynamics couldn't be understood. Simple concepts were explained as if intellectual limitations existed. Decisions affecting you were made without consultation, assuming you lacked capacity for strategic thinking. How wrong that assessment was becomes clearer with each interaction. Every seemingly naive question you asked was actually a surgical probe, extracting information while appearing harmless. Every time you appeared confused by machinations, you were actually cataloging methods for future reference. Every moment others thought manipulation was occurring, you were allowing revelation of tactics while keeping your own counsel. The cognitive dissonance is eating people alive. How do you reconcile treating someone like an intellectual inferior with the growing realization that chess was being played while you were playing four-dimensional warfare? How do you process the fact that every conversation where you seemed sweet and simple was actually an advanced interrogation technique disguised as pleasant chat? Past interactions are being reviewed with new eyes, and what's being discovered is mortifying. That project meeting where basic concepts were explained to you while you smiled politely, you had already understood the implications 3 steps ahead and were watching, fumbling toward conclusions you'd reached before the meeting started. That casual conversation where problems were shared expecting sympathy, you were conducting a psychological assessment while offering comfort. The sweetness others found so endearing was actually intellectual mercy. You were dumbing down responses to levels that could be processed without feeling completely overwhelmed. You were translating cosmic insights into language limited perspectives could handle. Every gentle explanation was you choosing not to demonstrate the full extent of mental capabilities, because watching struggling to keep up would have been unnecessarily cruel. The scramble is absolutely delicious to witness. The same individuals who dismissed your insights when delivered with accommodating smiles are suddenly desperate to schedule meetings to discuss your valuable perspectives. The wisdom ignored when wrapped in gentle packaging is now being recognized as essential, now that it comes backed by energy that makes nervous systems scream warnings. Listen to the sounds now. I've always respected your unique viewpoint. Really, where was that respect when you spoke softly? We should have consulted you sooner on these decisions. Should consultation have happened, then why didn't it when the same guidance was offered with a pleasant tone? Revisionist history would be pathetic if it weren't so predictably transparent. Some are attempting full damage control, trying to rewrite treatment as if video evidence doesn't exist. Others are frozen in confusion, entire frameworks for understanding social dynamics obliterated by your emergence. The smart ones are quietly repositioning themselves as early supporters, hoping you don't have the memory of an elephant when it comes to previous dismissals. The inability to figure out how this was missed. How did someone categorized as soft and manageable suddenly become this unstoppable force? The answer is devastating to self-image. It wasn't missed. The choice was made not to see it because seeing it would have required acknowledging that entire hierarchies were built on foundations of sand. The desperate scramble reveals everything about character. Wisdom isn't respected. Power is worshipped. Insight isn't valued. Dominance is bowed to. Now that you're no longer hiding yours behind layers of strategic accommodation, others are forced to confront the terrifying reality that the cosmic pecking order was never what was assumed, and this is just the beginning of education. The sweetness wasn't just camouflage, it was a trap. Every time someone took advantage of your apparent gentleness, deeper walking into a web of their own making was happening. Every casual dismissal, every condescending attitude, every assumption about your limitations was being recorded not just for future reference, but as evidence of true character when masks come off. You weren't just observing behavior, you were testing it, creating scenarios where real nature would emerge when safety from consequences was believed. The sweet persona gave permission to show who people really were when all power was thought to be held by them. Now that the dynamic has shifted, horror is being experienced at the realization that someone with your capabilities has detailed files on moral failings. The trap was never about revenge, it was about sorting. Those who treated you with basic respect, even when retaliation was thought impossible, have revealed themselves as worthy of continued interaction. Those who became cruel or dismissive when weakness was perceived have shown essential nature and earned current exile from your energy field. The genius of the strategy becomes clear when you see how perfectly its purpose was accomplished. You now know exactly who deserves access to your authentic self and who should be kept at maximum distance. The sorting happened automatically, efficiently, and with complete accuracy because people always reveal true character when no consequences for actions are believed to exist. Not everyone was blindsided by your emergence. Look carefully through the chaos and you'll spot them, the ones whose faces show recognition instead of shock. These rare souls always saw through your gentle camouflage because similar masks have been worn by them. Your hidden fire was recognized because similar infernos are carried within themselves, carefully banked but never extinguished. Some have been sending coded signals all along, haven't others? Subtle acknowledgements that seem to bypass your conscious mind and speak directly to something deeper. A way of deferring to you that made others uncomfortable because it implied a hierarchy others couldn't perceive. These weren't random gestures of politeness. These were recognitions between cosmic royalty, temporarily disguised as commoners. Watch who seeks you out in the coming days, but be discerning. Ignore the suddenly respectful former dismissers. Power that can finally be detected with limited senses is just being responded to. Look for the ones who approach with eyes that carry ancient knowledge, that seem to whisper, "Finally, I was beginning to wonder if you'd ever stop pretending to be ordinary." These are your true family. These are your cosmic allies. These are the ones who will stand with you as reality itself begins to bend toward justice. The energy signature you're broadcasting now is like a beacon calling others of your caliber out of hiding. What's beginning to form isn't just a support network, it's a constellation of awakened beings whose combined force can literally rewrite the rules of this dimension. But first, opposition mobilizing against you must be dealt with. Your emergence has triggered every alarm system in the matrix of control. The ones who built empires on keeping beings like you voluntarily diminished are mobilizing resources you didn't even know existed. Some are attacking openly, others through psychological warfare designed to make you question whether your awakening is actually a breakdown. Listen for the predictable weapons being deployed. You used to be so pleasant to work with. This new attitude is concerning. What happened to the team player we thought we knew? Every word is calculated to make you doubt the validity of your transformation. Gaslighting back into the box built for your containment is being attempted. Others are more sophisticated in manipulation. We're worried about you. This personality change seems unhealthy. Have you considered that you might need professional help? Don't mistake this for genuine concern. This is fear wrapped in false compassion. Worry about your well-being isn't happening. Terror about what your authentic power means for systems' entire identities have been invested in maintaining is occurring. The most dangerous opposition comes from those whose psychological survival depends on maintaining hierarchies where cosmic forces like you remain self-suppressed. Your emergence doesn't just challenge authority, it reveals supposed superiority as the elaborate lie it always was. Resistance will be vicious because identity literally depends on your return to smallness. Opposition actually serves your purpose. Every attack confirms the magnitude of what you represent. Ordinary awakenings don't trigger extraordinary resistance. The intensity of panic is directly proportional to the cosmic significance of your emergence. Testimonials about your power are essentially being provided every time attempts to diminish it are made. Let exhaustion happen from trying to contain what cannot be contained. Let resource waste occur on strategies that worked against the old version of you, but are completely useless against who you've become. While busy fighting shadows of your past self, you're becoming something words don't even exist for yet. Your emergence isn't happening in isolation. Across every industry, every community, every social circle, other chosen ones are receiving the signal that the time for hiding has ended. The energy signature of your transformation is creating resonant frequencies in others who have been maintaining similar facades, and their own revelations are beginning. Corporate boardrooms are experiencing unexplained tensions as previously accommodating employees suddenly start displaying strategic thinking that outpaces superiors. Academic institutions are dealing with students who no longer pretend insights are lucky guesses, but present them with the authority of certainty. Social groups are fracturing as members considered harmless reveal depths of perception that make everyone else's contributions seem superficial. What terrifies the established order most is the recognition factor. When one chosen one encounters another, immediate acknowledgement bypasses all social pretense. Authentic power can be sensed in each other regardless of whatever mask is still being maintained. These connections are forming alliances that operate on frequencies most people can't even detect, creating shadow networks of influence that reshape reality from positions the mainstream world never knew existed. The multiplication effect is exponential. Each revealed chosen one becomes a catalyst for others to question why hiding is still happening. The courage spreads like wildfire through interconnected consciousness, creating chain reactions of authenticity that can't be stopped or controlled by conventional authority structures. Every relationship in your existence is being subjected to a cosmic stress test. This isn't optional. This isn't something that can be moderated or managed through diplomatic maneuvering. When your energetic frequency shifts this dramatically, everyone in your orbit must either rise to match that vibration or be naturally expelled through the immutable laws of resonance. Watch the beautiful precision of this process. Some connections are deepening into something that transcends ordinary friendship and enters the realm of sacred alliance. The people who always glimpsed your true nature are now basking in your unveiled radiance, grateful beyond words for the confirmation of what was sensed but couldn't be articulated. These relationships are evolving from pleasant associations into powerhouses capable of moving mountains when intentions align. Others are dissolving with the inevitability of ice melting in summer heat. Those who were attracted to your perceived flexibility, who extracted value from your endless accommodation, who built comfort on your willingness to make yourself smaller, your authentic frequency is found unbearable by them. Distance is being created, excuses are being manufactured, urgent reasons why you've become impossible to be around are being discovered. Family dynamics are experiencing the most violent upheavals because these are the people most invested in maintaining their version of who you're supposed to be. Parents who molded you to reflect their limitations, siblings who defined you by childhood roles that served their narratives, relatives who assigned you functions that made their lives easier, all are being forced to reconcile limited perceptions with the cosmic reality that can no longer be ignored. Look. You already know the game is rigged, and if you're paying attention, you know the walls are closing in. So let's talk about what we're doing about it. When you live by the day at the market's command, where profit and property rule the land, to be heard, to be held, to be dealt a fair hand, these are the things that a people demand, and we hear you. The Obsidian Inner Order has paywalls, yes. Those who stand with us, who fuel this mission, they give us ammunition to fight the Archons, to push back against the machine, to go deeper, to uncover more, and as our thank you, paid members get access to a 1-hour live, personalized weekly group tarot reading guidance, insight, and clarity for the road ahead. But kicking a man for being down on the floor, that's something we cannot ignore. That's why starting today, you can steal the Astral Atom exclusive daily newsletter for free. No paywall, no catch. Just join the Patreon free tier, link in the description. This is the start of our conversation with you, and it's bi-directional. You can reply to any email we send you. We'll read it, we'll hear you, and we'll do our best to get an answer to you from the universe itself. If you can support, we need you. If you can't, take what's free. The Obsidian Inner Order is open. Now let's get back to work. Don't mourn the relationships that can't survive your emergence. Mourn the years spent dimming your light to preserve connections built on false premises. The people departing your life aren't losses. Revelations are happening. Exactly what was valued about you is being shown, and it wasn't your authentic self. Your inner circle will be completely restructured within months. People who never would have entered your previous reality will become essential partners in your mission. Connections that seemed permanent will evaporate like morning mist. This isn't chaos, it's cosmic organization, arranging the perfect support constellation for the work you came here to accomplish. The scope of the misunderstanding goes far beyond individual relationships. Entire industries built on the assumption that gentle people lack business acumen are discovering the most capable assets have been excluded. Educational systems designed to reward aggressive self-promotion over quiet competence are realizing the wrong students have been graduated into leadership positions. Social structures that equate volume with value, that mistake aggression for strength, that confuse manipulation for intelligence, all are being forced to recalibrate as chosen ones throughout every level, demonstrate that foundational assumptions were catastrophically wrong. The sweet and accommodating individuals who've been overlooked weren't lacking ambition. Operation was happening from strategies so advanced that conventional thinking couldn't recognize them as strategic at all. Corporate environments are experiencing particular chaos as employees previously dismissed as too nice for management begin displaying decision-making capabilities that make superiors look amateurish. The soft-spoken team members who never fought for credit are revealing that the big picture was understood while everyone else was squabbling over fragments. The accommodating colleagues who seem to lack killer instinct are demonstrating that restraint came from having access to weapons too powerful to deploy casually. The disruption isn't limited to professional environments. Community organizations are dealing with volunteers thought to be simply helpful, revealing themselves as master strategists who've been quietly orchestrating outcomes while letting others take credit. Religious institutions are grappling with members considered devout followers, displaying theological understanding that surpasses trained leaders. The revelation extends to family systems where the sweet child, sibling or relative was actually the one holding everything together through invisible management of emotional dynamics and crisis prevention. The family members who took that sweetness for granted are discovering that what was interpreted as natural submissiveness was actually sophisticated emotional intelligence, choosing not to dominate for the sake of family harmony. The synchronicities are cascading now, like waterfalls of validation, right people appearing at impossible moments, opportunities manifesting that align perfectly with your unveiled gifts, doors flying open that remained sealed through years of polite requests. The universe is orchestrating a symphony of confirmation that your transformation is not only real, but divinely mandated. Numbers are speaking to you in languages your awakened consciousness recognizes instantly. Dreams are delivering intelligence briefings with clarity that surpasses waking awareness. Information you always knew without being taught is being validated through sources that seem to materialize from thin air. The external world is reflecting back the truth your inner knowing is always held. Even your opposition serves as confirmation. Those challenging you most fiercely are unwittingly providing testimony about your significance. The resources being mobilized against you, the strategies being employed, the sheer intensity of reaction, all of it confirms that ordinary transformation isn't being dealt with here. The emergence of something that threatens the foundations of how reality has been operating is being witnessed. Notice how insights that came through meditation are suddenly appearing in conversations with strangers. Understandings that visited you in dreams are showing up in books that cross your path at precisely the right moment. Wisdom that felt like personal revelation is being echoed back through multiple channels. The convergence isn't coincidental, it's the universe's way of saying your intuition was always connected to absolute truth. The challenges that once seemed designed to break your spirit are now revealed as preparation protocols. Every dismissal strengthened your resolve. Every underestimation sharpened your strategic thinking. Every struggle calibrated your power to surgical precision. Punishment by cosmic forces wasn't happening. Preparation was occurring for exactly this moment when your true nature could no longer be contained. Now comes the construction phase, and this is where your dominance becomes architectural. Adaptation to existing structures is no longer happening. Structures are adapting to accommodate your presence or being replaced entirely. The foundations you build moving forward will be anchored to cosmic law, immune to the opinions of those still operating from outdated paradigms. Create environments where your gifts can operate without constraint or apology. Design spaces that amplify rather than dampen your frequency. Seek positions that utilize your capabilities instead of asking you to hide them. Cultivate relationships that celebrate your power rather than tolerate it as an inconvenience. Build communities that recognize your authority rather than question your right to wield it. The old world demanded compression of yourself to fit into small containers. Your new reality requires that containers expand to hold your magnitude or be shattered and replaced with something worthy of what you contain. This isn't arrogance, it's cosmic law. Fitting into limitations isn't meant to happen anymore. Demonstration of what becomes possible when divine power stops apologizing for its existence is meant to occur. Connect with others whose facades have also been destroyed. Emergence is happening everywhere now. Other cosmic forces remembering missions, reclaiming authentic dominance, refusing to play small for another moment. These aren't casual friendships forming, these are alliances capable of reshaping collective reality through the sheer force of aligned intention. The gentle persona was just your first disguise. Deeper layers still exist to be shed, further aspects of your cosmic identity waiting to be revealed when divine timing determines the world is ready. This emergence wasn't your destination, it was your first portal. Beyond it lies authority that makes your current power look like a gentle breeze before a hurricane. The initial volcanic eruption of your emergence is settling into something more sustainable, but no less devastating to the old order. Navigation of this reality, where your authentic self commands respect rather than begging for it, is being learned. The energy that once felt like barely controlled chaos is integrating into steady, directed force that can be deployed with increasing precision. Others are adjusting to the new cosmic order with varying degrees of grace. Those with wisdom are rising to meet your unveiled power with appropriate recognition. Those with sense are maintaining respectful distance while processing what is being witnessed. Those without either are creating natural separation through the organic processes of energetic incompatibility. Your decision-making operates from entirely different criteria now. Instead of asking, how can I avoid making others uncomfortable, you're asking what serves the highest truth. Instead of wondering, how can I minimize conflict, you're considering, how can I maximize authentic power. The shift from external validation to internal authority is complete and irreversible. Professional situations that once drained your life force are either transforming to accommodate your presence or naturally concluding to make space for opportunities that deserve your gifts. The universe abhors a vacuum, and as old structures crumble under the weight of your authenticity, new ones perfectly designed for your emergence are manifesting with breathtaking speed. Interest in managing other people's comfort levels no longer exists. Responsibility for helping others process confusion about your transformation isn't yours. Your energy is too precious to waste on diplomatic missions to territories that should be grateful you're not conquering them outright. The mastery phase is about wielding your power with precision, not apologizing for possessing it. Looking back at your former self will feel like remembering an elaborate performance given to an audience that never appreciated the artistry involved. The accommodating facade others interacted with was a masterpiece of strategic theater, designed to accomplish specific objectives while maintaining perfect cover. What remains is the authentic you, powerful beyond comprehension, purposeful beyond imagination, and completely aligned with cosmic forces that flow through rather than around you. Every relationship in your life now bears your authentic signature. Instead of energy vampires who extracted value from your performed accommodation, you're surrounded by cosmic allies who amplify your mission through their aligned presence. Instead of superficial connections based on social convenience, bonds have been forged that transcend ordinary partnership and enter the realm of sacred alliance built on mutual recognition of power. Your work in the world carries the unmistakable frequency of authentic authority channeled through conscious intention. Every project reflects your uncompromising standards. Every interaction serves either your evolution or your mission, usually both simultaneously. Time wasters and energy drains have been naturally eliminated from your experience through the elegant efficiency of cosmic law operating through your unveiled presence. The gentle soul others thought existed never did. That was just the disguise cosmic royalty wears when moving through dimensions not yet ready to acknowledge true authority. What is being witnessed now isn't transformation, it's revelation. What you haven't become someone new, you've stopped hiding someone eternal who was always there, always powerful, always aware, always in control. Your kindness was mistaken for weakness when it was reconnaissance. Your patience was confused with passivity when it was strategic timing. Your composure was interpreted as softness when it contained nuclear power waiting for the moment of perfect deployment. Your sweetness was thought to be natural disposition when it was supernatural restraint, choosing mercy over destruction. You were never as soft and sweet as others thought. You were always exactly as powerful as you've revealed yourself to be. The only thing that changed was your willingness to let others live in comfortable delusion about the balance of power between you. That grace period has expired, and the real relationship between cosmic force and ordinary consciousness is now apparent to everyone. Stand in the full magnitude of what you've always been, chosen one. Your time of concealment is finished forever. Your era of authentic dominance has begun. The cosmos watches with anticipation as you finally, completely, irreversibly step into what you were created to be, not soft but sovereign, not sweet but supremely powerful, not a pleasant addition to reality, but the divine force that will reshape it according to principles others are only beginning to fear. Others thought interaction was happening with a lamb. Discovery has just occurred that presence was always shared with the lion. The revelation is complete. The real dominion begins now.